The Einstein-Rosen bridge is based on the idea and the simple example that is always given is you take a piece of paper, don't look at what's on it, and you fold it in half, and then you poke a hole through it, and that's what's called a wormhole. Well, first of all, who's to say that you only poked a hole through the paper? And there's a lot of paper surface area intersecting. What if you just ripped the whole thing apart? Or what if you consider the idea that it's the same thing as if you fold a towel? Towels have a bunch of light passing through it and air and everything. There's a ton of holes that if you fold the towel, you'll still end up with lots of area that is intersecting that you could transfer yourself through. In fact, the difference between when you actually fold space, you're compressing all of that stuff. So what's the real idea of what happens when you when you want to fold space, but keep the rest of the space that would have been in that section not compressed? Well, that's a dimensional disconnect. That's you going into some other dimension and saying that there is somehow a connection between A and B, and when you fold it, suddenly they are close together. But you realize you have to physically actually change the dimensions of space in order to make this take place. It doesn't happen. So thinking that you're ever going to find a wormhole in real life is idiotic. 1 trillion%. 1 femtometer percent. You don't ever find a wormhole as much as you don't find a white hole. A white hole is said to be basically the physics counter opposite of a black hole. And what is it really? A black hole that is time reversed. So if you were to simply rewind the tape, you're looking at a black hole. It behaves like a white hole because all the stuff is leaving it. But why is that physically happening? Because it's the inverse of the natural laws of nature, the inverse of the natural functions of the black hole. It pulls it in because those currents and flows are all pulling towards the black hole. So really, stop thinking about white holes. They don't exist. They will never exist. Okay? Stop thinking about wormholes. You can't make one. You will never make one. In order to do any amount of portal teleporting and stuff, you need to develop and have some other dimension that you can access, and we can't. Or we don't have the ability to right now. Even if you think of, you've made a supposed wormhole in the laboratory, those are fake. Mainstream media wants to talk about white holes and black holes and things, and they want to talk about a lot of stuff saying, oh, there's time dilation as well. There is not. There's no such thing as time dilation. Your clocks are messed up. Time doesn't change. A second is a second everywhere in space. The difference is the effects on your clock. For example, if you have one of those atomic clocks, you'll notice that the laser is pointed at a target and then it comes back from that target and it hits the sensor. That's what happens in an atomic clock. So what you need to be aware of is that the faster you go, the more that target is moving away from the original emitter, and the more the distance of, and if you slow down, the more that target is moving away from the sensor. So if your satellites with atomic clocks are slowing down or speeding up at any amount near the speed of light, you'll start to notice seconds drifting away. It doesn't matter if it goes faster or slower, it just matters that the speed has changed. Because either way, the speed of light or the distance light has traveled in one direction gets more as you speed up, and the speed that it travels in the other direction changes as you slow down. And that's the thing. You have to be aware of that. You have to calculate for that. Nobody has talked about that. It's ridiculous. So it's the fact that I just came out of the shower. Goodbye.